Alright, so this video is just me using the paintbrush that I developed in my palette together to kind of paint these objects. Okay, so these are going to be generally all the same color, but we're not going to think of it that way. We're going to think of it as they're going to have reusable texture spaces and reusable materials, but for right now I'm using teal. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to start with this piece right here because it's the most unique, and the other ones are just really easy to do. I just have to paint those and burn the OCC and everything else. The problem is you don't know the order of things yet, so this right here needs the color first. That way I can get the text back in GIMP onto it. Alright, so we're going to go into texture paint mode. And I developed a brush that I'm going to be using all the time. If I'm going to be using this brush, I better make something like paint. Get rid of anything else. And in here, I'll drag in that paintbrush. You can show alpha, pre-multiply. It doesn't matter about anything else here. Oh yeah, it does. One, I should name this. We'll call this just paint. Okay, and over here, I'm going to choose to use the clone brush just for a little while. Get me off of the other one. Not much difference. This one holds a little bit more resolution, I've noticed. Strength all the way up. Then for the color, I'll go in here and choose this. Go over here and choose this teal. And you can see I can't. Oh, there we go. I'll say I would have to mount it or just paint a little bit on it if that was the case, but it went through quite well. Okay, so everything's locked up. There we go. And I should now be able to paint. Oh, gotcha. My Wacom drawing tablet's upside down. Oh. Alright, there we go. So let's get rid of project paint. Let's go into stroke and put the spacing up. Now I could do that over here too. Seems to function better over here though. Now, any jitter, might get rid of that. Radius, yes. And I start out with my darker midtone and then work my way up. This should keep my color palette alone because I put my color palette below my UVs. I am going to burn some ambient occlusion for this, So I'm not too concerned about the under part of it. Okay, so there's a nice base. And what's weird is, yeah, I captured this part right here, but you can see it's kind of dark. So I'll lower the blue value just a little bit. And they have HSV. So let's go that. I love HSV. See what you can do? Yes, you can rank the brightness up. Good job, GIMP. Or Blender. Ooh, man, I just insulted it. That's not good. So in here, I'll lower the strength down. And I'll make my brush really, really big. I'm just kind of touching this. But with my strength down, this is like 50% of the original color. And the reason I do this, it stacks the pixels quite nicely and presents more texture value. There we go. And if we zoom right in, we can see that that's pretty nice. Nice high-res texture. Okay, it would be nice to be able to paint on the one surface all by itself. Like, let's say I didn't know where these UVs were. Okay, but it has a hard time with that concept. It would be nice to see my UVs. Well, nope, I thought that might help. Yeah, that's one thing that I haven't found yet. Is the fact that, you know, you're in painting mode, but you can't see your UVs. And I've looked quite a bit for that. But what I'm going to do is cheat. I'll go into edit mode and find out where this dividing line is. So in edit mode, I'll go over here to sync. So take that one off and go to sync. Hit A. And then I'll find this one right here. And that is located right there. That's my edge. Okay, now I need to find that. I need to paint just right there, and I can divide my UVs up. Okay, good. Texture paint. Let's grab that darker. And now that I know that it has HSV, really, I kind of want to develop the darker color based upon this. So it's all in the same hue. So there we go. So this is 0.23. I'll just put 0.2. 0.23 it is. Okay, so I'm just going to make my brush really small and paint right here. Okay, that dot is representing where my straight line can be from there on out, because I would have a hard time trying to paint right here. Oh wow. Or maybe not, because I divided those shells up. Nice. That is really dark, even for my standards. So we'll go 0.4. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay, let's see how, as long as I don't click on that seam, I should be fine. I would have thought that even if you got close, it would have blended across that seam, but I guess not. This takes a little bit of time. This part, now that I think about it, you couldn't switch out colors because it has that text on it. So this is a unique piece altogether, color-wise and everything. The other pieces that will develop it so you can put any texture or any material based upon the trim. But for this piece, I can't do that. Okay, let me use my Wacom drawing tablet. It's a lot more quiet than clicking. Okay, once I have a good amount of that line down, I could be over here painting that. Back to the 3D window. Don't have time for that. Running out of time. Well, anyway, this is going to just be me painting. See that right there? That's what I have to be careful of. So zoom in. And start painting. Now, could I have done this in GIMP? Yes, I could have. I like the texture this brush leaves behind, however, in 3D land. So that's why I'm doing it here. If you want to do it in GIMP, that's fine. But I love how it leaves some kind of texture behind. I have ability to paint with texture on texture. And at any value, too. As far as opacity. In GIMP, I would just be laying a bunch of textures on top of it, and I wouldn't know what scale was either. I'd have to use the UVs to judge scale. Here I can use the part to judge scale. That's another reason I'm painting it in here. And you have to remember all your steps because you want this color value on all the other pieces. So I have to remember this color value. Oh, I saw some bleed. Right around that area. Pick up the brush every once in a while. You know, take it off. Like if you're using a mouse or a Wacom drawing tablet, let up on it because that way you have an undo point. So if I undid, like from here, I'm only undoing right there. A lot of times when I'm painting, I might inadvertently do too much and then I won't have an undo. Alright, I'm going to keep continuing to do this, and I'll meet you in the next video.